Greetings, Cap fans, and welcome to episode 253 of the Captain America Comic Book Fans Podcast. I'm your host, Rick Verbanis, and I've got a co-host. You know who he is. He's Bob Lucius. Oh, Bob. Abandon all hope, ye who enter here.
Oh my gosh. Your entry here. I know this. I do know this, Rick.
It's only one of the most iconic lines
I
in all of
know.
literature, Bob.
I know, and I should know it, but I got senior brain.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, how about this? How would it tie in with today's episode?
I have no idea.
What's the title to today's episode?
Would it be Inferno?
Mm-hmm.
See, but my mind immediately goes to Disco Inferno.
That was the line of the encryption over the gates of hell in Dante's Inferno.
Oh, Dante's Inferno. Yes. Gosh, I should know that. God, I've read it so many times.
Yeah, it was to me, it was a pretty no-brainer for
Yeah.
tying it into today's episode, and also a little warning to people who are starting the podcast: abandon all hope. Ye who are now listening to
Buckle
this.
up. It's
Yeah.
definitely several circles you'll be going through.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be covering today. This is the Cap becomes Nomad, right? This is part 7 of the series that came out in 1974. We're covering Captain America 182. So yeah, we'll be doing that one panel by panel today. And if you haven't been listening to the other ones, part 6 we did in episode 248. And also, we make it real easy. You can go to YouTube and just go to our playlists, and we have it broken out. So you could just go to, oh, it's the Nomad list, and boom, you see all the videos there, and you can just watch those. And if you are, have you been listening and you haven't checked out YouTube yet? You really should, because it's a lot of fun, because there's a lot of visuals, right? We show all the panels to the comics, so you can see what we're talking about. And then there's other things that we put up throughout the show too. That's a lot of fun. So you should check that out.
Yeah, that's a good point, Rick. A lot of folks, the auditory stimulation is enough, but some folks, they really do appreciate the visuals. And it resonates a lot more with them. I'm one of those guys. I certainly am a visual learner more than I am an auditory. I'm like, you start talking, I start, tuning out. But you give
Mm-hmm.
me some sweet visuals, I'm all over that, especially if it involves a plunging neckline.
Well, we have plenty of that in today's issue. Yeah, I think I'm a visual learner as well, because I do like to write things down, to see them.
Mm-hmm.
However, I'm easily distracted by audio. Like, I'm always impressed, dumbfounded, of people who can have the TV on and read a book, or have the radio playing and do something else. I mean, like I could have the radio on while I'm having dinner. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're playing a
Sure. Yeah.
game or something like that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
mindless. But
Yeah.
anything that requires your attention, and I'm just like, it's hard for me at work because we have an open seating kind of arrangement.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Prior to my current job, all my previous roles, I had an office, so I just closed the door. Because I
Right.
didn't
Yeah.
focus. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so
Oh,
I don't
that
know if
wouldn't
I
work
don't
for
know what
me
that
because
makes
I
me.
swear a lot. So I was
So you do
telling
it for attention. So
I
you
was, I
you
was telling my wife today, I was like swearing at the printer for like a good 20 minutes today. And fortunately, I have my own office, but
uh-huh.
the door is open, but nobody else was in the building,
Uh-huh.
so it was okay. But it would have
What's
been.
your go-to swear word?
It's definitely the F word.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's that.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
Sure, yeah. It's
You
very
know,
utilitarian,
it
right? You can
really
use it
is.
for a lot of different ways. I probably I've been known to use it. I don't know if that's my go-to. Do you have any that you will not, definitely no way say?
Oh yeah, there's definitely some that I won't. Generally, they refer to like like female anatomy or gender based or something like that.
Sure. Yeah.
I stay away
Yeah.
from those. But
Yeah. Okay.
give me a
All right.
good F word,
Uh,
son
you
of a
know,
nutcracker. Yeah, any of those.
there's a, oh God, what's the name of the game? There was a game that's been around for a long time, a few decades now, and it was called Dirty Words,
Mm,
and essentially you get a clue. I'm sorry, you get a word,
okay.
and then you have like four clues or something like that, and the other person has to guess the word, but it's
Mm,
clean. Like every
yeah.
answer is clean,
Yeah.
right? But the clues make you think it's not. And that reminds me, there was um,
That's
I
funny.
am I'm a four-letter word.
Yeah.
Another word for a female.
Okay.
I end with unt. What is it?
I have no idea. It's a four-letter word.
Yeah,
Mm,
ant.
yeah. Is that a? Oh, yeah, it is a four-letter word.
Right.
I was thinking
Yeah.
it's a five-letter word. Yeah.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
So like all the answers
Yeah.
are clean. You
Yeah.
know.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. 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 No.
Yeah. I'll
My
try that. I got to pick that up and play that with my son.
Yeah, it is fun. It is fun. It
Yeah.
can get a little raunchy. Um, the one that I will not do Lord's name in vain. So
Mm-hmm.
the JC, the GD,
Mm-hmm.
no, I actually get a little offended when people do it because I'm like, it's
Yeah.
not a curse word.
Yeah.
Like JC is not a curse word. That's
Yeah.
just laziness, right?
Yeah.
Like, like
Well,
that's
they're all lazy. you know?
I would generally say that. Yes, I would agree that profanity is. I can't remember the quote. Profanity is, uh, showing your ignorance, right? Like you just don't have the vocabulary,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Things like that.
They're
However,
shortcuts. Yeah.
however, sometimes it's used for effect.
Yeah. Well, that is true. Yeah.
Like when you
Yeah.
want to make a point.
Yeah. True. That's true. Yeah. I think in the military we use a lot of profanity, and it's for effect, and some of it's for theater as well, mostly
Mhm.
for theater. Yeah.
Speaking of profanity, there's some bleeping birthdays going on this week. Uh, if you're listening on the day this comes out, which is August 13th, ooh, can't believe the summer is flying by. There are two birthdays of some Captain America comic book creators this week. John Romita Jr. is August 17th. And one of my favorite Captain America artists, Ron Garney, is the 18th.
All right. Well, we've had one of those on the show.
All right, Bob, should we get into today's issue?
Yeah, this is exciting. Let's do this.
All right, so the issue we're covering today, as I mentioned at the top of the show, has a release date of 1974. It was November 12th, to be exact. The cover date is February 1975. The creators, a little different this time around. We still have Steve Englehart as the writer and has been on for a few years now, but we have the debut of a brand new penciler for the Captain America series. So Sal Buscema, as we mentioned last time when we were covering 181, is off the book and is being replaced by Frank Robbins. Now, we'll talk about that as we get into the issue. But also, the rest of the team is a little new too. So we have inker Joe Giella, colorist Bill Mantlo, letterer Tom Orzechowski, and editor Len Wein. So there's a new team on the book to go with Steve Englehart.
This is really Robin's first full-time, book, right? He'd done a few issues of Adventures into Fear prior to this, after they lured him over from DC. But he jumps in with a bang on this book, Rick.
Yeah, he does. In fact, he's been around for a long time. Like he got his first comic was called Famous Funnies number 66, and he was an artist. And that was in 1939, Bob. So he's no spring chicken here in 1974, and He did that, famous funnies through 1940, several issues, and then he jumps to 1968 where he comes on to DC and does a lot of work, but it's all as a writer. So
Yeah.
he's on Lois Lane, Flash, Superman, Superboy, Atom, Batman, Detective Comics. He's writing all of these, and several a month, and he does this, throughout the '60s. And then to your point, he does jump over to Marvel at the end of I guess basically 1974,
Right.
and he does the one issue of Fear, a Morbius story, and then here he is, Captain America 182. And so again, most of the time that he was at DC, he was a writer. So
Yeah.
it's an interesting now. And the thing about Frank Robbins is, and we've seen this in our Captain America comic book fans Facebook group, people either love him. I'm sorry, I won't say that because I was going to say people either love him or hate him. I think people either tolerate him or hate him. Uh, I don't know anyone who loves him.
I
I think
don't, you know,
I think there's people who said,
he's an
he's
acquired
grown
taste.
on me,
Yeah.
that type of
Yeah.
thing. Um, and it's interesting too. I mean, because if you look at some other work, he has some really interesting work,
Yeah.
and really talented. But we'll go through that as we go through
Yeah.
the issue.
I can't remember who it was that said he just wasn't. I don't know if it was an editor or another artist or writer over at Marvel who said that he just his style wasn't particularly suited for costumed heroes.
Superheroes, yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah.
was good around horror, that sort of thing, and he gave up comic book work in like '79, right, and then moved
Mm.
to Mexico. And I don't have you ever seen any of his paintings?
I have not.
Yeah, they're like you can Google them. Frank
Hmm.
Robbins paintings, yeah, and because that's what he basically spent his time on until he passed away in '94. But like his paintings are like super impressive,
Mm.
and you could sense a little bit of his style in his paintings, but extremely detailed and a lot of like people scenes. Like I think he had one of the U.S. stock exchange that was just really mesmerizing.
Mm. I'll have to check those out.
Yeah.
Now, do you want to take the listeners through the cover? Now, the cover is accredited to Ron Wilson, Frank Giacoya, and John Romita.
All right, will do. So it's a busy scene, Rick. We've got Nomad and Viper going at it in some rubble, and interestingly enough, we've got Cobra lying face down in the rubble in front of Nomad, and Viper's shooting a weapon at Nomad. And one of the bullets has grazed his shoulder, tearing open
Hmm.
his uniform, and shooting into the wall behind him. And then in the background, we see Captain America in his traditional Captain America garb, red, white, and blue with the shield. And he is looming over this whole diorama scene. So it's a really interesting and action packed scene. And it really sort of pulls you in and makes you question, like, how's this going to end in this issue?
Yeah, and um, it is interesting. I mean, because Steve hasn't been Captain America for several months now, and they've put this larger Captain America imposed in the background to kind of signify that this character you're looking at is actually Captain America. And they've done that a few times now, and you tend to and you get to the letters column, and this and other issues, are they're basically saying, when is Cap coming back, right? And so this has been going on, I think, just a few issues, right? That Steve has actually been Nomad. There's been several issues where Steve was just Steve, but not a lot with him being Nomad. So we're
Yeah.
still kind of in the beginning stages of this.
And think of the panic, Rick. I mean, obviously you and I have been through this a number of times, right? With
Mhm.
all of his times he's left the uniform behind. But man, back when this came out, right? I mean, like the question hung out there: was he going to come back as
Hmm.
Captain America? Right? I mean, that hadn't been resolved yet for anybody. We hadn't seen it ever been resolved. So
Now it was ahead of its time, really, as far as that was concerned. Um, and did you read the blurbs on there?
I did not, but we've got two of them. One of them says the end of the sinister serpent squad, and then at the bottom we see the man called Nomad trapped in an inferno.
I wish they didn't give away the ending with that. It's the end of the Sinister Serpent Squad. They lose.
I know they should have had a question mark, not an exclamation point.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah. And 25 cents, Bob. Get you this issue.
this or a phone call. Actually, probably was 10 cents when this came out, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. All right, I'm pulling out my copy so that we can get to the opening splash page. Stanley presents Captain America and the Falcon in
Inferno.
Steve Englehart, author, ushers in a new look to comics' most exciting hero, courtesy of comics' most dynamic talents, Frank Robbins, artist. And then we see Steve in his nomad costume running, hopping over a series of police cars. They're in a standoff, firing back and forth to a house, and they're in SWAT gear with their helmets and visors and jackets, and they have their rifles and their pistols out. But you can see that the police cars have all been riddled with bullets, and bullets are flying by as he is hopping. And one of the police officers says, "Who the heck is that?" And there's a lot of firing going on.
There is. There's a lot of cring, fling, 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 flap.
Next page, and Nomad drops down for cover behind a police vehicle, and he's talking to one of the officers. "The name's Nomad, officer. I broke up the rest of the Serpent Squad in the Pacific, and I hear you've got the Viper and the Cobra under siege here." "Is the Pope Catholic?" "Siege ain't the word for it, Blondie. We spotted 'em as they came winging in from that Roxxon oil rig, but they spotted us too, and it's been gangbusters ever since." And yeah, that's how last episode or last issue ended, right? It was Krang basically threw the serpent, what do you call that? Helmet, crown,
Right. The serpent crown.
gives it to Viper and says, "Take it. You need to leave."
See ya.
And um, Cobra is like, "I'm going too," and the two of them, escape. And then here they are in the building, and they're firing um, machine guns, both of them.
Brap, brap.
So Steve, he launches himself in that direction. "Well, the longer this goes on, the more innocent people risk getting hurt or killed. This has been my case from the start. So, hey, grab him, Jim. This guy's out of his mind." And they do. They manage to grab and hold on to Steve's boots, one on one and one on the other. "I guess. Does he think he's Captain America or something?" And Steve falls on the roof of the car, and he has kind of a surprised look on his face.
It's a funny panel. Yeah.
Yeah. "Blast it. Let me go. I am. No, I can't tell them that." "Take a nap, Blondie. You may think you can play hopscotch through no man's land, but we don't feel like watching you prove wrong." And he takes the butt of his rifle and hits him in the back of the head.
Whoa.
What gets into these costume crazies anyway? Fade out. And fade in on the other leads in the show. Down, shoot out. I got Attack of the Hyphen again,
I
Bob.
know. That's like, what on earth is Englehart doing here?
Yeah. I blame the letterer on this one.
Yeah, well, it's a clever turn of phrase, but an unusual one.
Fade out and fade in on the other leads in the showdown shootout. "There's no way, Viper. They have us surrounded. We are going to die." "A fate I am fully prepared for, weakling. To strike for nihilism is to court annihilation. Keep firing.
Brrr.
But I'm no terrorist, no fanatic like you. I have no cause to sustain me in death. I want power, riches, not this. I formed the Serpent Squad for profit, but you perverted it. You and Krang and that cursed serpent crown. I went along. I had to. You swore I'd never regret it. And he drops his gun and goes into a ball. Blast you, Cobra! Cease your sniveling and take up a weapon. I must ask the intelligence in the crown what to do. All life is a gamble, and if one gambles with pigs, one may well end up in the dirt.
Hold on.
Yeah?
What is that? When I read through this and I'm like, if one gambles with pigs, that's not the saying.
What is the saying,
The
Bob?
saying is if you wrestle with a pig,
Yeah,
you both get dirty and the pig enjoys it.
right.
Not if one gambles with a pig.
Well, she's,
She's ad libbing.
maybe her English isn't, it's not
Okay,
her
fair
first
enough.
language, right? So
That's a
she's,
good point.
you
Yeah.
know,
She's mixing
maybe where
idioms.
she's from, that is the saying, Bob.
Oh, fair enough. That's fair enough. Okay.
So Cobra picks up the machine gun and he starts firing it, but he has this look of fear and terror on his face. Oh Lord, she's crazy. I'm trapped between the law and a mad woman.
Aren't we all, Rick?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's one of those damned if you do.
exactly. Right. I know the listeners will understand.
And so she puts the crown on her head and it turns her face into that kind of demonic look, right? We had nearly achieved our goal of raising Lemuria from the ocean floor and crowning ourselves rulers of the world. Our failure must be on an equally grand scale. Her flat voice drones on, while the crescendo of death hits new heights. And they tied up, I put handcuffs on Cap or Steve, and one of his hands is tied, around the spoke of a tire to a police car. Okay, Blondie's cuffed to the car. You ready? Yeah, the guys are all set. We have to rush them. It's the only way to break them loose, and it's our job. And one guy blows a whistle. Can you blow a whistle? No, that's not the sound of a whistle.
It said it, but I'm just using it says tweet.
All right, well, can you do a whistle?
No, I can't do a whistle. I can get a
Yeah.
whistle. I can whistle.
Can you whistle?
I can't now.
Oh.
No,
I know, right? Whistling on command's tough because
it's
like
very
you
difficult.
sometimes like, you know,
Yeah.
like yeah. I used to be able to really whistle. Could you do the whistle where you put the fingers in your mouth?
Nope. Nope.
I could
Cannot.
never been able to
I've
do that
never been
ever
able
in
to
my
master
life.
that. Yeah.
So there's three policemen that charge and they're firing the machine guns as they're charging, but Viper and Cobra hit them with their guns.
Yeah. I mean, they've got it looks like they've got a good 200 feet between the cars and the house of completely open ground.
Yeah, that's a tall ask.
It is really, it's a big ask. But like he said, well, it's our job.
To die?
He didn't seem very enthusiastic about it,
Yeah.
but so there, that's why.
And Steve, laying on the ground, looks like he has both sweat and tears. Why? Why didn't they let me tackle it? Is this the cry of an egomaniac? Or a mortal man who knows his capabilities and how they differ from other men's? Ponder it for a page as we pull back some 3,000 miles to a familiar mansion in old Virginia and watch the Nomad on a smaller scale through the magic of television at the side of Sharon Carter. Bob, in 1974, was TV still considered magic?
Well, that's a good question, Rick. I mean, it what had been like, I don't know, 20 years, 20, years, 23
Yeah,
years, something like that. So yeah,
right.
pretty new.
I don't know.
She's got a
I
color
mean,
TV,
name something that we've had for 22 years, right?
cell
Like,
phones,
well, we've had them longer than that.
smartphones. I mean, smartphones.
Has it only been that? I thought,
Yeah, it's only
yeah.
been that, buddy.
Right. Do we still consider them like brand new, like magical? The magic of it was if I
Right.
would say, "Hey, Bob, use the magic of your cell phone to look up something for me."
I think it's an exponential sort of thing. I mean, if you think about like prior to TV, like what had there been that had been close to TV? Like a smartphone, you could say, well, it's like a computer. I had a computer,
Mm.
or it's like a TV, but I had a TV. But like a TV, like it's like nothing that had come before.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yep, I think that's fair. So there's Sharon watching a color TV, and she sees this, and she's like, "So that's where he is, in the thick of a siege in Seattle. The commentators don't know what to make of this nomad, and neither do I." And next thing we know, she's going for a walk. And Bob, how would you describe what she's wearing to our listeners?
Well, she's wearing jeans, Rick. It looks like
Mm-hmm.
she's wearing jeans and
Mm-hmm.
boots, and a
Mm-hmm.
big chunky belt. Oh, you mean she's wearing a red halter top? Is there no bikini top? I guess is what you.
What is a halter
I
top?
don't know. I guess a halter is just sort of it exposes your midriff. Is that a halter top? But this
I don't
is it,
know.
it is doing that as well as sort of being a bikini.
Yeah, it's like one of those.
I'm not in
I
on
don't
the
know.
fashion terms.
Like those shirts that and it's tied in the middle.
Right. Yeah.
Right there
Yeah.
underneath her.
I'm getting a Dukes of Hazard feel here.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah,
Something
yeah.
that Daisy Duke would be wearing.
And her blonde hair is just kind of flowing in the wind. She's walking down a dirt path, her arms uh, folded behind her, and she's looking down. I thought when Steve quit being Captain America that he'd join me in retirement, that we'd be able to build something together, that maybe we'd even stop finding reasons to postpone something more permanent. But he was only dropping the White House, and as the man without a country, he's been as active as, huh? And she sees a shadow, Bob. What's the shadow look like?
He looks like somebody in an Old Spice commercial. It is a younger man, and he's wearing jeans. He's got a sort of an olive drab jacket on, but it appears that he's missing his right arm. Um,
He's not. It doesn't appear he's missing his right arm.
yeah, well, okay, he's missing his right arm, and but he's got very long blondish, sort of goldish hair.
I don't.
And
He's a ginger man.
yeah, okay, that's a good point. Yeah, I guess they're portraying him as a ginger, and he's got a full-on beard and mustache too. So
Mm-hmm.
he's got the Dan Haggerty look, if folks know what I'm talking about.
And he's got the walking stick
Yeah,
in
he's
his
got the
left
walking
hand.
stick.
Yeah.
I got a
Uh,
walking stick, Rick. You know that? I got a whole series of walking sticks.
hmm.
I don't know if you needed to know that, but I wanted to share that with you.
Hey, Bob,
Yeah.
can you tell me, please, about your whole series of walking
Well, I'm
sticks?
glad you asked, Rick.
Said no
Yeah.
one.
I love walking. I'm one of those guys that I mean, I don't take them out to the grocery store, but I lead a lot of hikes and stuff like that. So I like to
I would
have.
love to see you take it to the grocery store.
I know that would be good. I use it because there's a lot of alligators on the trail, so I like
Yeah.
to make sure that I got something to bop them on the head. If they're too close, or if there's snakes on the trail, so I always make sure that I got that walking stick with me. But I got a whole series of them because I got a thing for walking sticks.
I got to tell you, Bob, if I loved walking as
Uh-huh.
much as you,
Yeah, you'd have a stick.
I would find somewhere else. I would not be going where there's alligators and snakes. I
Yeah,
just
well,
wouldn't. I'm
right.
not sorry. I just
That's
wouldn't.
Florida. So there you have it. I'd have to get
Yeah.
on a plane to go someplace else to go for a walk.
I don't know. I would get on a treadmill. I'd do something.
There you go. Go to the beach, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Snakes and alligators. Dear Lord. And yes, you're right. Bill Cox is there. Beautiful afternoon. Hey, Miss Carter. Hey, don't tell me the beard's throwing you off. It's Dave. Dave Cox. Remember, we met when your sister and Captain America and the Falcon tangled with the original Serpent Squad. When was that, Bob?
That was back in issue 163, Rick.
Which was Dave's first appearance. This is his second. And Sharon looks at him with big eyes and smiles. Of course, Dave. Of course. How are you? And it reads, an innocent enough encounter. But then we turn the page, but one destined to have far reaching ramifications in the long, cold months ahead. For now, though, let's go back to where things are hot. And we see Nomad um, still handcuffed to the tire, and he's struggling. They're not going to keep me here, not while men are dying all around me. I want. I fought an entire world war to make sure as many men as possible lived. And he rips the tire off the axle.
Rip!
And I won't warm the benches now. And then he breaks the handcuffs. He just breaks them apart.
Wang!
Steve Rogers has more combat experience than all those cops put together. So the Nomad does indeed think he can get through no man's land. And he starts kind of hopping around, um, evading the machine gun fire. A rush, a leap, a scrambling roll, and he finds himself a closer shelter from the line of fire without even breathing hard. But whatever name, he is still the world's greatest fighting machine. And with or without police approval, he's going to prove it. And he climbs to the top of a telephone pole, Bob. The Serpent Squad can't see me from their side of the house, which gives me all the time in the world to slowly set this pole to rocking back and forth until I can use its leverage to hurl myself inside the house.
You ever seen a telephone pole that you could rock back and forth?
Never, Bob.
No. I mean, they're set like 15 feet into the ground for crying out loud. Those things don't rock.
Well, maybe back in 1974 they did.
Maybe they did. Yeah.
Yeah. And he breaks through a window.
Boing!
Below, the battle goes on, and because it has gone so long without a climax, new weapons are brought to bear to hurry things along. A tear gas grenade explodes next to a shattered gas line, and the climax comes with no further delay. And sure enough, there's smoke and fire coming from below, and the Cobra jumps up. Fire! Down in the cellar! They're trying to burn us out! You craven worm, do something about it. No, there's nothing I can do. You've brought me to my death, and there's no escape now. It's fate. I see it all now. I've been a pawn of you, of Mr. Hyde. Do you see him there, hiding in the smoke? And we do. We see an apparition of Mr. Hyde in the smoke. He's laughing at me. He knows. He knows he'll still live, but I'm going to. Shut up! And Viper backslaps him. One would
Whack!
even say, bitch slaps him.
Oh, she did for sure. Yeah. And she didn't even like make an effort. It was just like a casual.
Yeah. And then she thinks to herself, trapped by the law with a madman, which is very similar to what the Cobra was saying.
Indeed.
Suddenly, Nomad comes up, kicks Viper, and then grabs Cobra. On your feet, Cobra. I heard every word you said, and you're wrong. You are leaving this house alive. All three of us are. My feet are for your face, John Law. Nobody captures the Cobra. And he does. He kicks him back.
Pow!
You maniac. You'll even know help when you see it. And he punches Cobra.
What?
Captures a whole lot better than death. And death is all you'll get if you don't come with me. And what he doesn't see is Viper grabbing the machine gun from the floor. You're wrong, Mr. Super Pig. Capture is not preferable to death. No one is leaving this house alive. What? What did you say? I said, Nomad, that we are not walking out of here into the jails of the police. The valiant outlaw called Cobra, the dedicated agent of the Serpent Crown, and the foolhardy agent of oppression are going to end this story dramatically as martyrs to the serpent cause. That is that's all it is, you know. A story. A story to grow with time into legend. A story not to be told as fact, but as inspiration. A story to breed more like me. Oh Lord, get me out of here. Away from her. Please, Nomad, I've changed my mind. Get me out. And he's coughing from the smoke. Look, Viper. Silence! I don't want to listen to you at a time like this. No, you can't stop me from having my say. Not at a time like this. I'm not an agent of oppression or anything else. I'm here because I want to be here. Because there's more to stake here than a story. Our lives? Justice? You fool! None of this means anything compared to my cause. If people can point to this day and say the Serpent Squad was hounded to an unjust end, the Serpent Squad shall never die. Others will take up the crown and strike for nihilism. That will be our triumph. And she stands over him. But just then, Cobra starts to try to run away. Gotta get out. Smoke getting too thick. No, you don't, Cobra. We must have solidarity. And she shoots him in the back, Bob. She turns only for an instant. But the Nomad needs no more than that to spring like an uncaged cougar. He reaches out, when out of nowhere comes the crushing spray of a fire hose brought belatedly to battle the blaze. With a rush and a roar, the Nomad is hurled aside, and all hell breaks loose as the building starts to collapse. But Nomad, again, is pushed out of the way by the hose. The house is coming down. She's gone, but the blast of water shoved me clear. Eh? The cobra's still kicking. Come on, mister. I'm taking you out of here after all. Run, scramble, parry flames, and broken timbers, all with the weight of a wounded man on your back. Time is a seething cauldron as the Nomad fights his way outside. Made it. And the cobra will recover, they say. The house.
Crack!
There it goes. The Viper's final resting place. No one could have lived through that inferno. She's got what she wanted now. But will she get what she wanted for the future? More terrorism? More characters whose only cause is effect? I pray to God, not. The smoke hangs thick and nasty in the smog brown Seattle sky. Sirens wail and hoses hiss. A kind of calm falls down upon the dying embers of this dream, but in their fading glow, a shape comes riding, sliding free of the fire on a torrent of tepid swill, and drops from the sight of man forever. And the serpent crown, Bob, slides down the stream into an open manhole. We cut a few pages and we get to a new scene. And we see Roscoe, doo coo coo, as Captain America. And he is jumping over rooftops in the middle of the day. The scene is no longer the same, just as the Captain America before you is no longer the same. We are now in New York, and where once the person beneath the bright blue cowl here would have been Steve Rogers, now the Nomad, it is currently a happy go lucky kid called Roscoe from Brooklyn. Woo wee, ain't this the life though? Come on, crooks, give me a tumble. The new Captain America will put the kibosh on yous.
Squee!
Red Wing? That's the Falcon's Boyd. And that means the big joik himself flapping around somewheres. Watch who you calling a joik, kid, 'cause I came to find you with a truce flag in my teeth. Well, in that case, put it there, Falco. I just knew you couldn't be as a big a banana as you was acting. You're gonna stop telling me I can't be Cap, huh? Or did you come to tell me the real Cap's showing up again? You were right the first time, my man. I'm gonna stop hassling you. In fact, since it looks to me like nothing short of an A bomb could get you to give up this crazy idea, I decided to take you with me on patrol tonight to show you the ropes myself. You know, look after you. Wahoo! You're on, partner. Look out, world. Captain DeFalk right again. Just till I can convince you this is no business for kids, kid. Two guys already been hurt trying to replace Steve Rogers, and what the? That looks like Peggy Carter with Gabe Jones. Is it, Bob?
It is indeed, Rick.
Well, we've been seeing a lot of them lately
They
together.
have been hanging out a lot more.
Yeah. And Gabe's got his arm wrapped around Peggy as they're walking.
He does.
Nah, I must be mistaken. I only caught him a glimpse of him in the streetlight. Hey, partner, quit daydreaming in the nighttime. Look down there. Guy's in the niftiest super bad guy treads you ever saw, looking towards that bank. Yeah, I see him, Roscoe. Now, don't do anything foolish. Check him out and figure what's the best plan, since it looks like there's only three of them. Count 'em later, Bud Brain. Don't you see? They're pointing down way through the wall with a laser. And their names ain't Roscoe, it's Cap. And sure enough, these masked, um, what would you describe what they're wearing, Bob? How would you?
Well, I mean, it's sort of a crimson and orange. Oh, I should say a scarlet and orange. Full body suits, but they've got sort of loose hoods on their heads. So, and you're right. One of these guys has a backpack with some sort of electrical energy beam that he's shooting at the wall.
Yeah, and they created a giant size arc in the wall so they could knock through. It looks like I don't know what, a foot and a half, 2 feet of
Yeah,
concrete.
it's a pretty thick. Yeah, yeah.
Well, there's never any recession on robbing banks. Let's take 'em, kid, and we'll see whether you can earn your name. Maybe I should be thankful you didn't tell me to be careful, Falk. But then again, you don't know how hard I've been practicing for this. I ain't about to make a slip up, not on my first case. And he comes in and he gives two kicks in the back of the head. See, I've been thinking about why Bob Russo and Scar Toypin blew it as Captain America's. See, they thought they was big guys, so they deserved a big job, a job worthy of them. But me, I figure I'm just a noisy punk who's trying to be worthy of the job. Hey, kid, don't talk so much. Gee, Falco, I thought that was part of the job. Here, man, finish this guy off. I'm getting tired of punching him. Got him, Cap. And maybe I got a boy wonder on my hands as well. And he punches.
Whoa.
And we cut to the second to last page, and there they are standing over the the three villains. With that thought comes another, the thought of a second young gallant in the Captain America saga, Bucky by name. But the Falcon doesn't like to think about Bucky much. That's interesting. I don't think I've ever heard that
Mm-hmm.
before,
Yeah.
right? That Sam doesn't like to think about Bucky. And I guess the natural question is why? Is
Mm-hmm.
it jealousy? Is it sadness? Is it he doesn't like how um, the memory of it, hurts his friend Steve?
Yeah.
Could be a number of reasons.
Could be. Could be. Yeah. I mean, I think it's probably that latter, right? I mean, he knows how painful that was for Steve to wrestle with for years, and it's always below the surface even now. So yeah.
Check this out. They were all carrying suitcases. They must have been planning some fast getaway. Idly, Falk clicks back the double locks. Cap, holy crow, kid. This case is already full of money. Money? They was bringing money in? The two costume figures stare at each other, nonplussed. But even if they had been waiting for it, they wouldn't hear the soft rustle of cloth behind them, wouldn't hear the cushioned tread of hand crafted boots, wouldn't hear anything alarming until they felt the jolt of a stun blast pass through them,
Zap.
and they both fall to the ground. So, never in my wildest imaginings did I dare hope I would capture my two greatest enemies in so short a time. Then there is no longer a need for disguise. You must know that you face the Red Skull.
Oh my goodness.
And Roscoe says, "Oh my lord." He does. He rips off his mask to show the Red Skull. Yikes.
Yeah, I'd be if I was Roscoe, I would have some serious concerns right now.
If I was Roscoe, I'd have some serious, probably urine puddle right there. Because I peed my pants.
Right. Yeah, no, no, I got that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next, you knew we had to do it, but it's for sure you don't know how. The return of Captain America, 8 months in the making and worth every second of the wait. What? Cap's
What?
coming back?
Already? What the
You know what?
heck?
The fact that they're revealing it here tells
Right.
me they don't
Yeah.
want to lose too many readers.
Right. People are starting to get a little aggravated, a little concerned, maybe.
Yeah.
We haven't gone through the wrap with cap letters, but there's probably quite a bit of letterage coming in,
Mm-hmm.
causing a stink.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, all right, Bob. What do you think of this story, first of all?
Well, it's definitely action packed, right? I think it's
Mm-hmm.
one of the better uh, writings of Viper uh, in all of the Cap stories. I mean, she had some great speeches here, really sort of an extended speech. But I thought it was really really well written here. Her character, just how batshit crazy she is. Pardon my French, right?
Right.
Yeah, you really get a sense of her, and she doesn't care about living or dying, right? She just wants to like
Mm-hmm.
set this legend in place, and yeah, so I loved it. I love this issue.
Yeah. No, it was a good issue. Um, and to your point, yeah, things are moving quickly, and we're seeing some progression. I loved uh, the cowardice of Cobra. So it was cool
Right?
seeing,
Yeah,
that side of him, and I actually really liked, the police officers were like, "What?" And they grab his boots and nail him
yeah.
down, and and then handcuff him. Yeah, that was a fun part of the story too. Bob, you go first. Do you have a favorite panel?
I do. I do want to like just back up a little bit though, because you like the cowardness of Cobra, right? And I'm like, yeah, okay, he didn't really want to be in this position, right? But it really drives home the fact that like, dude, he's a businessman,
Yeah.
right? His business is like stealing things and doing sort of nefarious stuff. But like for him, it's a business, right? And it's quite a juxtaposition against Viper, who is like an ideological sort of villain.
Mm-hmm.
Cobra's like not in that game at all, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
he wants to like make his cheddar cheese and then like go home at the end of the day to the wife, sort of thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I mean, it really just really clarifies that contrast, I think, so well in this issue, and particularly in a few pages.
I mean, yeah, I agree with you. He's a businessman. I do think at heart he's a coward. because just not just from this story, but from overall stories that we've seen, the way he works with Mr. Hyde, um, he's definitely afraid of Mr. Hyde, and you kind of
Yeah,
you know
he's smart, right? Who wouldn't
yeah.
be?
Um, well, I wouldn't pair myself with someone I was scared of.
Well,
So how smart
yeah.
can you be?
Well, I guess it's again it's the almighty dollar
Sure.
driving the motivation here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Indeed.
Um, and it lends some new thinking too, because during the Gru run with Viper in it that had Cobra, there's a part I actually own the page, and Viper is handcuffed in like a Quinjet, and Nomad and D Man are there guarding, and Cobra comes in, and she's like, "Cobra, free me!" And he's thinking to himself, now's my chance to kill her, and he fires at her, but Nomad's and this is Jack Monroe.
Yeah.
Stun disc hits something and it ricochets and instead frees her. And I was thinking to myself, oh yeah, now it makes sense. Like he does not like Viper,
Yeah.
and
It's crazy. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
All
I
right.
mean, I bet you she'd be fun to go out on a date with, but like, yeah, you don't want to be in a long-term relationship with Viper. That's for sure.
I don't think she'd be fun to date. No, 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 no. Talk about afraid. This guy right here. No, thank you. All right. Favorite panel. What
All
is
right.
it?
Well, I gotta go with I gotta go. I think I'm wearing off the digital copy, so it's around page 10 or so. It's when they're fighting, when Nomad first enters the building and he
Mm,
kicks, it's that top panel where he kicks Viper in the back of the head,
uh-huh.
and he grabs Cobra by the shoulder and he says, "On your feet, Cobra. I heard every word you said." I like that. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's not only got Nomad's Steve here. Not only has the dexterity that he's like grabbing one guy, kicking the other opponent, but he's like talking his way through it and explaining
Mm-hmm.
to Cobra what he's doing here. And I think it's well drawn, right? I
Mm-hmm.
love the look on Cobra's face when she gets clocked. The look on, Viper's face when she gets clocked, and Cobra's face when he gets arrested by Steve's grasp.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a great panel.
It is. It is. I totally agree. In fact, my favorite panel is on the same page, and it's the fourth panel, and it's when he's punching Cobra, and then you see Viper crawling and reaching for her machine gun.
Oh yeah,
A lot of the same elements that you mentioned, but I liked the storytelling aspect of it. I liked, you got Steve and Cobra fighting, but in the same time, his back is turned to her, and she's you know on her belly crawling towards the machine gun, and she has a look on her face. She's sweating. Um, it's I think it's a cool visual, an angle.
it is right. Yeah, it's got a lot of depth to that panel, and it's a small panel, right? It's just
Yeah.
it's like an eighth panel, and or I'm sorry, a sixth panel, but it's got a lot of depth to it.
Yep.
Good. How about a T-shirt though, Rick?
Well, Bob, I could use another Red Skull T-shirt. I'm going with the last page.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah, just pulling off the mask, yelling the Red Skull,
Uh
and
huh.
then over Falcon and Cap. I think that I don't know, that'd look pretty cool on a T-shirt, don't you
That
think?
would call for some explaining, like why is Cap alarmed?
Yeah,
And then you have to say, well, that's not Cap, that's
yeah.
Roscoe, and then you could do the whole Roscoe thing.
Goo goo goo.
Yeah, I thought of you a couple weeks ago, Rick.
Mm-hmm.
The actor that played Roscoe passed away,
Mm-hmm.
and I was watching. Do you remember that show In the Heat of the Night?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Carol
Mm-hmm.
O'Connor as
Mm-hmm.
the sheriff. He was a guest character, former sheriff on that show, and
Was he? How fun is that?
yeah, and I took some pictures, and I was going to text them to you and say, "Hey, look who's on in the heat of the night, Rick." But
Uh-huh.
it was late, and I didn't want to wake you up if you
Ah,
had your phone on.
look
So,
at that. It's thoughtful in two different ways, right
but I did
there.
think of you, So,
Yeah.
and I heard you in my head.
Goo goo goo.
I did.
All right, Bob. What's going on your T-shirt?
Yeah, well, it's definitely got to be that panel from around page 4 where she says, "If one gambles with pigs." I love that panel for a number of reasons. One is
Mm-hmm.
it's just a quirky, idiomatic expression that she
Mm-hmm.
uses, perhaps appropriately in whatever she is, Romanian, or I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what Ophelia is. But you know, her with the serpent crown, lowering it on her head, and then Cobra looks like he's got an expression on his face like, what the heck did I
The
get
mask
myself
that
into?
he's wearing, he looks like the Jim Carrey version of the
He
Grinch.
does. Exactly. Yes. Yes. And she said, and he says, "Oh Lord, she's crazy. I'm trapped between the law and a mad woman." And I'm like, I gotta have that on a shirt, man. That would be so awesome.
I like it. I dig it. Um, all right. And what is going in your time capsule?
I'm not 100% confident of this, Rick, but
Uh huh.
I'm 99% sure that this is the first PDA between Gabe and Peggy that we see in
PDA.
the public display of
Public display
affection.
affection. Okay.
Yeah. So they're walking with Gabe,
Mm.
has got his arm around her,
Mm-hmm.
walking down the sidewalk at night, and he's looking down at her, and she's looking up at him, and she's got that look of that sort of starry-eyed look in her eyes. And it's not too many issues later, I think in like 186 or something, where you know it's a little it's left to interpretation, but it does look to me like they kiss. And
Mm.
you know, and I've been thinking about this because I think it's Misty Knight and Iron Fist get a uh, get credit for the first interracial kiss in comics.
Do they really?
They
Okay.
do, but that
I thought that was in Jungle Fever.
I don't think so, Rick. So, but that occurred, I think, like a couple years later, at least a year later than
Uh-huh.
that 186 issue. So this is like big stuff in 1975.
Yeah, totally.
You know, so I'm gonna go with that.
All right. I I love it. I think that's great. Goes in the time capsule. Um, for me, I got to go with the opening splash. It says it. It says it right here, Bob. That ushers in a new look to comics' most exciting hero, and it is. It's the debut of Frank Robbins
Yeah,
doing the character of Steve Rogers, and again, um, tolerate him or hate him, he is a an artist of the Captain America lore that has a tremendous amount of issues under his belt, not only in Captain America, but of course he goes on to do the Invaders with a golden age Captain America, and so I think that's noteworthy to put in the time capsule.
yeah, you're right. I mean, he had like 9 issues, I think, you know, before Kirby came back with the whole Mad Bomb thing. But he also like picked up at the same time the Invaders, you know, kicking off with that giant sized Invaders and then leading into the Invaders series, which perhaps he's best known for, right?
Didn't I
And
just say that?
no,
I just said, and he has a lot of experience with Captain America, both in this series and in the Invaders.
I don't think you said that, but maybe you did.
Okay.
But you know, my point is though, like you know, he has like he left an imprint on the character, and a lot of new characters came from his pen along with Roy Thomas. So
Mm-hmm.
so you know, maybe a short time on Cap, a little bit longer on the Invaders, and you know, and it wasn't much longer before he left the scene, but like he definitely left his mark.
Yeah. Yep. That is absolutely true. All right, Bob. We will be doing part 8 of this in a few weeks. Comes out the second Wednesday of every month if people have been paying attention. So, episode 257, we will do part 8. And we can't wait to see because apparently Cap comes back and also it's the Red Skull. So,
Yeah,
we don't want to miss that.
yeah, they've
Um,
telegraphed it. So
yes. Now, next episode, 254, very special episode. This one we're going to have Tom Boyd come on. He's a super soldier patron, and so this is his nightcap, but it's going to be way more than just that, Bob. We're going to have, as we've mentioned before, Tom Boyd, who's been on a few times, right? And he was the narrator for the community theater. He did his own Cap comic based off of the fantasy draft that we had done, and he did a story called Shadows over Albion, and it is a full size Captain America comic book that takes place in the 90s, in that Gru era. And we're not only going to have him on to talk about his comic and how he did it and the different creators that he brought in and the whole process of doing his own comic, but we're also going to do it panel by panel. And I know we joked about this before. I, I'm not going to do all the British, and he's not going to do all the American. We're gonna stay on our lanes.
It's going to be our first 4 hour show because there's so much to talk about,
Yeah,
not only with the process, with the comic itself, with all the ads and the art and just all the little Easter eggs. So it's definitely, you don't want to miss this one.
yeah, yeah. Come back next week for that. And if you don't mind, this is the part we ask you. Please rate, review, and subscribe. There's a link in the show notes that'll take you to our website that has like the top 10 things that you can do for free to help out our show that actually don't take much time at all. So we really do appreciate that because it just gets more people out there to hear about our show and the message of what would Cap do. And if you want to support the show, you can check us out on buymeacoffee.com/cap comic fans. Bob, any last words?
I sure don't have any other than to say I can't wait to next week, Rick.
Oh, actually, Bob, I almost forgot.
Ooh.
This is we wanted to start a new segment about send in questions.
Oh, right.
We got a question, and it is from Nate Charles.
Oh, all right.
You may also know him as Scourge.
Yeah, he's got a really deep voice. It kind
He
of
does.
makes me nervous.
So he sent in an email to capcomicfans@gmail.com. So if you want to send us an email to be read on the show, you can do the same, capcomicfans@gmail.com. And his email says, "Hey, Rick and Bob, I just finished reading Captain America Volume 12, Number 1, which is the new series,
Mm-hmm.
and listening to the Chip Zdarsky interview in episode 247, and the following question popped into my head. Where does this leave the character of Arnie Roth? He was a truly groundbreaking character and pivotal to the DeMatteis Zek run. How would you guys like to see his canon updated to fit into the sliding timeline a la Peggy Carter? Look forward to hearing your suggestions, Nate Charles." Um, do you want to take a stab at this,
I,
Bob?
I
Or
have I have no idea how that would work, and I don't know what you mean. I mean, Peggy came back right as the dryad. I don't know if that's what he's referring to. Arnie Roth is a different situation, right? I mean,
yeah,
Arnie passed away, and so I don't know how you get from 1930s, 1940s to the post 9/11 era, the 2000s, uh, without him being a really, really old dude.
right.
Like, I don't know how that would work, but I guess with the right creative team, they could figure it out.
Yeah, and I guess he's asking if we were the creative team, how would we do it? And
Yeah.
it's a tough one, right? It is a tough one, and I agree that he was a groundbreaking character. And we had J.M. DeMatteis on the show. I think that was episode 13, and he talked about Arnie Roth and how the importance of it, and he didn't realize the importance of the character until much later when he had many readers come up to him, at shows or reach out to him online and just talk about how it was important to see a character that was like them,
Yeah.
right? And for those who maybe don't remember or know, Arnie Roth was a childhood friend of Steve Rogers, and he ended up in the DeMatteis run show up as a middle-aged man, because it was at this point, I guess not middle-aged. He would have been like in his 50s, at this
That's
point.
middle age, Rick.
Okay. Oh, you're so cute. Um, and so he was a childhood friend that showed up in Steve's life. But what was groundbreaking about it was that he was gay,
Yeah.
and so there really wasn't a lot of, or wasn't any really gay characters back then.
And he had a
And
partner.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. And so, yeah, he eventually was killed off during Gru's run, and I think he died of like what cancer or something
I
like
believe so.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because he was an old man, and so how do you do that with the sliding timeline? Great question. I I don't know.
I
It's
think one way to handle it maybe is to rely less on one of the things with that De Mateus pulled off was the sort of the reunion, right,
mm,
later in life, but maybe to rely more heavily on those flashbacks to their time together as
sure.
kids and young adults, because really Arnie Roth was to Cap to Steve, like in the MCU, Bucky was to the character of
Hmm.
Steve,
Hmm.
right? That's how he's been sort of portrayed since. So maybe just rely more extensively on those formative years.
Yeah,
And
I think like Rick Remender's run.
mm-hmm.
He had a young Arnie Roth in those stories.
Yeah.
Helping out Steve. I think in the JMS run there might have been something of that. Um, but I guess if we're going to be creative and not cop out here, maybe it's not Arnie Roth, but it's Arnie Roth's grandson that reaches out to Steve with some sort of, my father and my father's father, wanted me to tell you this and had a reason to reach out. He knew Steve's identity, and which kind of throws Steve off, and something to that effect. Like you could,
Mm-hmm.
still tie into the legacy of Arnie Roth,
Sure. Yeah.
and just make it modern. I don't know. Great
Yeah.
question, Nate.
That's a
Though
great
love,
idea.
love, love the
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, it is. I mean, he is an important character, and but he's right to identify that with that sliding time scale and the adjustment in Chip's run, a lot of those questions are going to be raised, right? Because you've taken a lot of the players that maybe he had a relationship with back in the 40s sort of off the table by the
Mm-hmm.
time he reaches 2000 and wakes up.
Yep. All right. Yeah. If you have any questions like that, or just send them our way at capcomicfans@gmail.com. All right, Bob. As always, it's been fun wrapping cap with you.
It has. I'll see you next week.
All right. He's Bob Lucius. I'm Rick Verbonis, and thank you for listening to another episode of the Captain America Comic Book Fans Podcast.